Hello and welcome to the Under Center podcast. We are back after our break for a very exciting show. We're going to be previewing the Junior Irish Wolfhounds against the Great British Lions Under-19 game. This is part of the Global Ireland Football Tournament, a very exciting tournament we have lined up, to build the anticipation for the Aer Lingus Football Classic, which is coming up this weekend. And to join me, to help me do that, I've traded in the usual riffraff that's on this show for some top footballing minds. I've got Coach John Romo, defensive coordinator for the Wolfhounds, and I'm going to call him star running back, Connor Hoskins as well. Obviously, a good pal of mine from my time at the Panthers this season. Guys, thanks a million for taking the time out of your Wednesday to join me and preview this very exciting upcoming matchup international tournament.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having us on. And I don't know if we replace anybody. I miss the fellas there. I admire what you're doing just before we get going, like all of you that are trying to do this, because again, I listen. So I appreciate it. Yeah, agree or disagree. That's what you guys are there for. That's what the media is there for and podcasts are there for. So I appreciate you doing it. And hopefully this is all positive though. This is all good stuff.
Exactly. If anyone's listened to us and disagrees, that's all just part of the experience. So we're looking forward. As always, please do join in. Send any questions you have for the guys, specifically for this upcoming international tournament. I know we're all excited about the AFI season that's gone by and the college season that's upcoming, but we're going to focus in on the Wolfhounds, their prep, just to try and build some excitement for this. Connor, how has the camp been going? Tell us a little bit what kind of activities have been ongoing. How regular has the training sessions been, and how is the team gelling?
It's been going good. I feel even though we don't have many sessions, we prepare very well. Since we're, as it is, the Wolfhounds, it's everyone from all over the country. So we have lads like up north, down south, from all over. So it's hard to organize it for very hard to organize very often. We have it every maybe 2 a month or so, maybe once a month. But no, we've been preparing well. I feel this year we've grown a lot as a squad, just mentally and physically, compared to where we were this time last year before the games.
Mm-hmm.
The intensity has been rising, the performance and the skill has definitely improved, and I'm feeling good. About the game coming up.
Great. This is, I think, one of the key areas for growing the sport. Anytime youth football comes around, it is what is going to elevate this sport, not only on the playing level, but also on the spectator level, and growing interest. John, or Coach Romo as well, you've been involved in the youth football side of the AFI for a long time. It's a passion project of yours. How cool is it to see a lot of the clubs around the country be represented? The squad came out today on Instagram, and I'm quietly impressed of how big this squad is for an under-19s international tournament. I think it bodes really well for not just the numbers, but the standard of football we're growing in this country.
Imagine where it'll get. Hopefully, when we win. When we win. But you're right. It's this is the 5th iteration of under 20 football in this country that I've been a part of, as far as a Wolfhound setup kind of thing. And each one before this was a one-off, really. And we were kind of aware of that when it was happening. But this isn't, and that's what makes this so much different for us. And that's why we're just trying to get in all of the talent we possibly can that want to make this happen and do the best we can with them in 4 or 5 sessions. But yeah, it's been the sacrifices that these dudes make to get to Dublin, even though it's just once a month. The sacrifice they have to make to do that is impressive, and it shows. I think it shows something, hopefully, for the country.
Yeah, and a really cool thing for me as well is the fact that, okay, the Senior Wolfhounds is about putting the absolute peak performance of Irish athlete we have, the best athletes we have at all the positions forward. I think the Wolfhounds juniors, it has that aspect as well, but it's also got a serious focus on development, because if at that age you're not developing core skills and abilities in the players that you have, and maybe some developing players that haven't necessarily broken through maybe on the senior kidded team. Some of the guys I know as well are still in the youth program, so they're not quite able to join the senior kidded programs yet. I think it's really cool to be able to amalgamate. I know Casey Nannery, for instance, is a guy that I played with, obviously, the Panthers this season, but we played with him as well in the Pirates. And he was able to get that opportunity where obviously on the senior kidded team, it's difficult to get that kind of insight or even get an invitation to these camps. But on the junior side, I feel like you guys, especially, a lot of credit, have gone through a lot of effort to get all these kind of youth players at all levels, at all tiers of the sport, be it in the senior kidded squad through all 3 divisions or 2 divisions this season, and then also through the youth academy stuff, to be able to bring them all together, like you said, Coach, in Dublin, and really get them bonding and playing high-level football with a lot of top-notch coaching. It's a really exciting time for AFI.
Yeah, then you got to go to Connor. I mean, let the ugly guys got to stop talking at some point. But I totally agree. But I do also got to give credit. Coach Amaznia, we could talk about him later. But the actual process started a few years ago, pre-COVID, and COVID hurt a lot of things, and we're aware of that. But the guys who were involved, and I think Connor can back me up here, with coaching his group, Connor's group, they're responsible for a lot of this success in a lot of those ways, both with like Coach Lamazdi and all the other coaches with in the Panther situation. It was Coach McDonald, a fabulous job he did with this, and that stopped, so it was really hard for us. But I think Connor can tell you that the guys that he's seen those same players, a few of those same players since he was playing junior, and they're all taking a step to the next level. And I think Connor can see that too, that happened with some of his mates.
Yeah, tell us your experience, Connor.
Yeah, like Coach Romo was saying, there's been some of the guys that I started playing youth against, especially like in Cork and in the Belfast teams. Like they've like nearly almost grown up with me with the Wolfhounds. Like you have Tygo O'Connor, and then you have like for Cork, and you have like Zach McDowell on the Knights, just lads that I remember playing against them in youth, and then we just grown and developed to go to the Wolfhounds, and then eventually, like you were saying, onto the senior teams. But like the coaches, like John, like Coach Romo was saying, they're like such a vital part, like motivating the youth guys to get to training, to get better, and to be a part of something that I feel could be very special.
I think it's such a monumental effort, as you were saying, for especially young guys, not necessarily driving. There's a lot of family needs to commit. There's a lot of support they need. But it's kind of cool. And I'd be interested to get your opinion specifically on, I always find one of the great things about these kind of national teams is they bring a lot of guys together that obviously specifically say when you were in the youth program where you're facing these guys, it's kind of that blitz format. You're kind of playing them a lot. And now you're playing beside them, so you have an appreciation for their game. And I think it builds a lot of camaraderie that I think is really cool. I think that infectiousness when you're getting on well with the guys beside you, but then in the regular season, then they start playing opposite you. I think it's a really cool dynamic. It adds to the game, and I feel like it draws in a crowd because there's a mutual appreciation and mutual respect, and then also a bit of kind of banter that comes along with knowing the guys so well. Have you enjoyed being able to get to know the guys both opposite you and then also have them stand beside you at these camps and kind of get to know their personality a little bit?
Definitely, yeah. I feel this group, we're a very tight-knit group just solely off of all the experience and interactions we've had with one another in the past years. Like playing against the guys, like it does bring a bit of banter because you remember from like youth, if you like have a good play or have a good game against one of the guys, you bring it back up. But it's also like it's like iron sharpens iron. Like you're always improving, and like it's really beneficial, especially since we're a lot bigger of a group now, and there's even more guys from the youth coming up, and even guys that I haven't played against or I haven't seen getting involved and getting like connected with this group is like very special and very important, like for our success.
Yeah, and Coach Romo mentioned the interference of the COVID seasons and how that kind of impacted a lot of players' development. And one thing that stands out to me for you is obviously having played beside you all season long. It's such a unique experience and position for you to be in, to be playing senior kid football at such a high level, and also being drafted into this kind of national squad where you've got guys that are at a similar week in, week out in terms of starting for senior kidded teams, all the way down to guys who are playing youth football. How do you embrace the challenge of being in an under 20s format, a quote unquote senior player and an experienced player? And do you take that burden on? How does that impact you during these training sessions? Like you said, a little bit spaced out, hard to get a lot of stuff done. So do you feel that you have to push some guys and get involved a little bit more as that kind of experienced player?
I feel I'm facing two sides of the coin. On the one side, in the youth side, in the club side, I was like one of the younger guys. I was one of the babies of the group. I was the kid. And then now when I go to the under 19s, under 20s, I'm the old guy. I'm like the dad of the group because I'm one of the oldest. And just people like, you kind of try and use what you have experienced from club. In my perspective, I use what lads and older guys have told me from club, and I try my best. Now, I might not be very good at it, but I try my best to pass down wherever I know or whatever I have learned onto the younger guys, and hopefully they can pass that on when they're in my position.
Yeah, look, I think that's huge. And from my experience, as long as you're giving your best effort and kind of being conscious of the guys around you and understanding that dynamic, I think it's always a benefit. I'm sure Coach will jump back to you in a few minutes, but I'm sure all the coaching staff kind of appreciates that level of experience and that level of being involved and pulling this along. I want to also ask you, obviously, we chatted a little bit before we got on the show today, this is my first experience with the Junior Wolfhounds. Obviously, as an organization, I understood that it had existed in previous seasons, but now we're seeing them come into the spotlight. Last season in the G.I.F.T and the season before, you guys had played some of the high school teams. I know you also mentioned you played an away game in Bristol, and I'm sure that's exciting and brings its own logistical issues and kind of excitement about playing football overseas. But this time it's a true international test. We're coming up against the GB Lions. Does that bring an extra level of excitement to this camp? Obviously, as the game gets closer, the excitement's going to build up. Have you noticed any changes? Anything even that you're seeing that you're more excited to play this international game?
I feel the group are definitely a bit more fired up. Like you said, it's an international game. Like it's country v country. Like the when we played the high school game, obviously it was a fantastic experience. Like a team from another country, high school, they've been playing for however long. And the Bristol game as well, that's more of a club and university. They've been playing however long. But this is the big dog that we've been waiting to have a go at. And it's like our best against their best and just who can compete and who wants it more. I definitely feel I especially have been fired up about it. It brings a certain edge, a certain feel to the game that like was just feels different compared to last year. Definitely.
And Coach, on a coaching side, what are the outcomes you're looking for? Obviously, guys getting experience. The camps are a fantastic thing. Are there goals and achievements the coaching staff is looking for these games? Is there objectives you're trying to reach, or is it just about getting the product out there, getting the players out there, and getting this exciting experience that it's so hard to come by in the game of football, especially on this small island?
That's hard. It's hard for me. Not hard, but I want to win.
Yes, for sure.
Like when you talk about bringing up the intensity a little bit, like you can see in this, me and you talking, I was talking, like I haven't stopped moving. I'm really excited for this opportunity, and the players are really excited and understand this opportunity and how big it is. It's such a great experience, and the pleasure is we've had guys that were there last year, and the team, while the team matters as far as the making it grandiose, the guys that were there last year, they understand and a lot of the younger guys, they're not even thinking about it, and they're going to see it when they get onto the field because it's well attended. It's a very well attended. Last year, Connor can attest, and I don't know what the numbers are, but I mean, it was had to be close to Shamrock Bowl numbers. So there are very few people in the country that get to play in front of that many people that were there, and to play it that well, to play the game that well for the first shot. But I think those guys will agree too. We It's hard to put this team together. We need the veterans, and the beauty of it is for junior football is I only get so much time with these guys. So to see the growth of a few of these veterans has been nothing short of like why I do this and why the coaching staff is all in agreement as to why we do it, because there's probably not too many there's not a team in AFI that wouldn't want to go to war with Connor Hoskins, and he's not the only one. There are 3 or 4 others. There are Shamrock Bowl champions that are playing on this team, and that is something that we need to. If we can help do that around the country, then a lot of this little stuff I think that AFI goes through hopefully can start to go away as far as the football on the field is concerned. So that's a long way of telling you I want to win, but the flip side of that is we have nothing to lose, in my opinion. I think that we're, the expectations outside of our small circle, the expectations outside of us are not the same as our expectations. Let's just say that. I don't know, but I'd say we're playing Team GB, who expects us after 5 sessions but they're kind of in the same boat. And I think that another great thing is they're all the same age. Bigger pool to pull from, but they're all the same age guys. So I think Connor would probably tell you too. I want to win. I'm kind of I want him to work hard, and if it doesn't happen, if we don't reach that goal, that's fine. We had nothing to lose, but we'll know if we're. I want to win. I want to win for you.
Connor, we both know from this season it doesn't take much to get Coach Romo fired up. I suppose what I'm excited about as well is, and we're going to put our salesman hat on a little bit here, because obviously part of this is about growing the sport, growing the engagement, not just for the underage, at all levels of the sport. And I think a lot of things are aligning here. So just to highlight, obviously, it won't take any Irish players that much to get G'd up to play against the Great British Lions. That's a given. It's obviously here. You've got, so the big thing is the huge thing for some of our listeners that maybe aren't so familiar with high school football in America is high school football is massive. This isn't a Sunday league thing where like 4 people are sitting down in a cold field out the back of nowhere. These things are huge over in the States. Towns shut down on Friday night to go and watch these teams play against each other. This is proper talent we have coming over here. You guys have the prime slot as well. Friday Night Lights is what they call it over in the States. You guys have the 7 p.m. kickoff under the lights in Energia Park. We've had Shamrock Bowls in there before. It's a fantastic venue. Not only that, this is obviously done to coincide with the Aer Lingus Football Classic. It's Georgia Tech against Florida State. We've got two Florida teams involved also playing in the pregame. So hopefully that'll draw some crowd as well. And then obviously IMG Academy, which I think a lot of people wouldn't know many high schools, but some of these prep schools are pretty well known, especially as you start digging into the American football scene. A lot of NFL players have come out of the IMG Academy. A lot of current NFL players also come out of IMG Academy. So I'm just trying to kind of give an overall picture here. Some of the people will know a lot about NFL, probably less about college football, and maybe nothing about the high school game. But this is serious talent. This isn't a local team coming to play a kind of a backyard game. This is going to be big. They're going to be used to big occasions, playing under the lights. What is the excitement level within the squad? We've kind of touched on it already, but I need you to give it the hard sell now for anyone listening that's kind of maybe on the fence about whether they'll show up on their Friday evening to come and watch these games.
If you come to the game, like what I've been trying to emphasize to the group is just effort. Like you give it your 100%, you leave everything on the field. And when you come to these games, like you said, with the Florida schools and all of that. Like they're gonna give it their best. They're gonna give it their all, and that's what you're gonna expect. That's what you're gonna get out of our game. You're gonna get well, however many lads, 45, 50 lads. You're gonna get them giving it their all, putting everything, leaving everything on the field, and giving it their best. So you're in for a treat if you go watch our game or any of the other games, to be honest.
Well, look, all the other games, of course, but we're pushing this Irish game for sure. We want guys to come down. I really like the 7 p.m. billing as well. You roll out of work, you have a couple of beers, then you roll down to the stadium and get your shouting heads on. I think it's going to be really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it. John, or Coach Romo, I won't ask you to give us too much of a breakdown, but just maybe coming from obviously your background in the States, just lend a bit of, they're used to listening to this Dublin lad who pretends he knows what he's talking about, doesn't. But can you just verify what I was kind of saying about high school football over there, huge names like IMG Academy coming over, and what it means for Ireland to be able to have this level of talent come over and play games here?
Last year, we played the Naples school, and their former head coach, who was traveled with the team, he's the athletic director, is a Super Bowl champion. Maybe as a player and a coach, definitely as a coach, and he coached under Andy Reid. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And the talent level, if you like football, the talent level that's going to be there all day is pretty awesome to watch. To be honest with you, IMG Academy, having them. This is showtime for them. This is a little showtime for these schools too, and it's still, they're here to have fun. They're here to travel, but even at whatever intensity they're going, it don't matter. They're going to be fun to watch. Last year was fun to watch football all day and all night long. So yeah, it's very impressive. We are the coaching staff tomorrow. A few of us are going to go check out another one of those other high school teams. They're going to have a training session, and we're going to go check out with their coaches, and they've invited us in, I believe. So there's a pep rally tomorrow afternoon in Marion Square, and all the teams will be there. So yeah, it's a pretty cool event. They're really trying hard to put on a good show, and I think I don't know, but one ticket gets you all the games, and you can come and go as you please. So if you're in the area and you're in the neighborhood, hop in and say hello, because it is a really good day and night. Hopefully we put on a good show for you too. I think Team GB has something to prove too. So hopefully it would be great to bring home a victory. Is awesome. Having a dogfight like that is something that could be very cool to see. So definitely come out, because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes for the level of athlete that we have. To be able to put a showcase on between Ireland and Team GB in and around this talent, and for it to be part of the main billing and get that kind of Friday night lights appeal, I think that's really cool. Connor, we've played alongside each other all season. You played many positions, both offense and defense. The team sheet came out today. You're only listed as running back. Is that your final position, or are we going to expect you to play a little bit of linebacker as well? And I'd ask this question with my tongue in cheek, because as Coach Romo said, there's a tremendous amount of talent on this squad. There's also a tremendous amount of names on this squad. But just give us a hint. Are you going to be exclusively running back this weekend?
Before Connor answers that question, before you answer that question, let me just say that, even though it's kind of gone a little bit away from that now, and I went to high school a long, long time ago. I played both ways when I went to high school. Most of the guys that I played with played both ways when they went to high school. So I'll just, I'll leave it at that and let Connor answer the question for you. But, I think that there are a lot of guys that are going to give their all. And there are a lot of times when defensively we need to bring guys from the offense over to help us out. And there are a lot of times that it has to happen the other way. And if you're talented at two positions and you have the opportunity to play this type of event, you want to give it your all on that field, because now he's got a break. He's got a break now before next season.
To answer the question, I will be playing a bit of defense I think mostly defensive end and then linebacker if needed.
Yeah,
Wherever
well,
wherever I'm needed, I can suit in for.
having seen you play a bit of linebacker this season, it would be a shame not to give you at least a couple of snaps at it. You do seem to particularly enjoy it, even when you don't have the rock in your hand. So I think that's really exciting. Coach, just really quickly, I presume this is going to be a chance for a lot of guys to get a game time. We're going to see a lot of cycling and guys getting to enjoy that experience. Is that something the coaching staff is conscious of, or more important maybe to keep it at a high competitive level, if that's fair to say?
You know, the game is going to play out the way the game is going to play out, as far as I think our strategy is concerned. But I don't think there's a single person that plays on this team that doesn't understand if we got to do what it takes to win it as a team. And getting on the field getting reps in the game is very important. But I think the whole process leading up to this for a lot of these guys is more important. And not to be, and that's, just because the youth football and the AFI is kind of in that transition phase right now, and it's starting back up again. And last year was last year and stuff. So, yeah, I think I think that there's an understanding on this team, but we're going to do our damnedest to get every dude that has shown up out there for reps, because they all deserve it. They all deserve it. But I think we want to win this game. I think everybody wants to win this game.
Yeah, for sure. And so finally, as we kind of look to wrap up, Connor, Coach was saying that they're going to go and have a little kind of insight into the training session of some of the other teams taking part. Have any of the other coaches come over and got involved in the Wolfhound session from some of those visiting teams? And if not, just maybe speak a little bit, because I won't ask Coach Romo to brag about himself, but just speak a little bit about the level and the talent of coaching that you guys are getting, and how that improves both young players developing, and then also guys like you that are a little bit further along their football journey, and just being able to experience different coaching, different styles, different footballing ideas about how to play this sport.
I don't think any of the coaches from any of the American teams have showed up, but we did have a G.I.F.T clinic, and the G.I.F.T, which is the organization that runs the whole event, they bring coaches over. And so we had a clinic with, I think it was about maybe 6 or 7 different coaches taking us in positional groups and getting like really good and effective training, like their coaches who have like played high school, college, even professional in the NFL, and are currently still coaching in high school and college. So like, you can't ask for much more. You can't ask for better training from their side. And then speaking on the coaches, our own coaches, like, I don't think I've had any better coaching than what I've had from especially Coach Romo, with his defensive mind, and just like, and anything he can figure it out. He can sort it out on the defense. Like, if you have any question about any position, he'll know what to do. He'll have an answer for you. And then Coach Allen as well, who is known for his very good coaching skills, especially in the youth. When I was playing youth, Cork were the powerhouse, and that's thanks to the athletes, but also thanks to Coach Allen's coaching abilities. Yeah, it's been, I couldn't ask for better coaches, even from a coaching perspective and just a personality perspective. Like, they'll put a smile on your face. They'll pick you up when you're down, and they'll correct you if you're out of line, which is what I feel is needed. And it's been an absolute pleasure being coached by them.
Well, look, you must also have a PR coach, because all your answers have been pretty squeaky clean and shiny as well. So fair play. Coach, you want to add anything there just as we start to wrap up?
Connor's been through a few head coaches in his days. He's been through a few coaching staff. So if anybody can kind of speak from experience, but I think that it's kind of why these coaches now, there's a wealth of experience between us all on that team, and there's also a couple of newer coaches, and we just all want to see something special happen, and all try to be on the same page and are on the same page about, you know, what we expect of each other as coaches. We hold each other accountable, and what we expect on the players, and being able to make adjustments if we need to. And nobody, they're all in lockstep. You know, we all seem to be in lockstep. Win or lose, we're going to be in lockstep, and that's pretty cool. That's special, and there aren't many. You know, that's a big staff of people. You know, the senior team can say that too, and the flag teams have coaching staffs that kind of, you know, there aren't too many teams that have staffs like this. This is a staff. You know, it's really nice to have someone work with the line, and someone work with the linebackers, and someone work with the defensive backs, and on offense positionally. It's really nice to be able to have someone work with them positionally and have numbers at each position. So we're really blessed to be able to do that. You know, and shout out to Eleanor, who helped put all this stuff together over the last year. You know, and his job is hard to do. You know, and it's just the way it is. But you know, shout out to and the coaching staff that put this together. So yeah, I couldn't agree. I love it. You know, I've said many times that I'm okay with coaching adults. I'm good with that. There's a lot of ego involved, right or wrong. There just is. And me personally, I'd rather work with these young men and women and try to see them grow. And how cool is it for us as the junior coaches to look at them a few years down the road and see like where they're at, you know, and hopefully they remember the experience too. And when they go back to their teams and to their clubs, they can take those experiences with them and grow. So that's why we do it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, look, there's a reason all of the sporting bodies focus on grassroots. It doesn't get much more grassroots than the junior youth side of things, especially in a sport that's by necessity kind of geared towards the senior team. So any kind of development and early access we can get people to the sport at a high level is really going to benefit the game overall in Ireland and just in general as well. And the popularity, as the quality grows, so does the spectatorship. And I think if we're true about developing the sport, it has to start at the youth level. So, Coach Romo, this will not be the last time I suspect we will have you on the show. We'll be getting after this game. We'll kind of, as the seasons kind of roll through, keep an eye on you, keep an eye on the youth development as well, and make sure we get it. Before we end, I'm just going to give a last final appeal. If we haven't convinced anybody to go and see these games yet, specifically the last game, how could you not want to see Ireland beat England at yet another sport? Sorry, not England, GB, at yet another sport. The little brother picking on the bigger brother across the waters, and see some genuine stars of the Irish game, future stars of the Irish game, and maybe even a couple of future NFL stars as well, all for the price of admission. I think that's really exciting. Guys, it's going to be on Friday, this Friday coming. If you are free, please go down. I believe the first game kicks off at 12 p.m. Ireland versus Team GB will be at 7 p.m. kickoff. It's the final game of that day under the lights, Friday night lights, as they say. Guys, I really appreciate you taking the time out to come and talk to us. It's our pleasure to have you on. We will, of course, be rooting strongly. If there's parents around, by the way, and you have kids that are interested in NFL, please do bring them down, no matter what age it is. It's always a good time to get involved. There'll be a lot of representatives from all the team around the country. There's several teams in Dublin, both at the youth level and at the senior level. 18 years of age, you can start getting involved in the senior level as well. So please do come down if you have kids that are interested in all. If you're interested in American football, please do come around. It's unisex, so boys and girls, welcome to come down, get involved as much as it can. Please do find a rep, whether it's one of the guys from the Irish Wolfhounds or someone in some local team gear. Please do so. It really helps to grow the game, and your support and your patronage will be sincerely appreciated by all the guys, the coaches, and the players. So we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. You can catch this podcast at Under Center Podcast on Instagram, on X, Under Center Podcast on YouTube. You can find this podcast and all the rest of them on audio format wherever you get your podcasts, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Coach Romo, Connor, thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Thank you for
having us. Hopefully we can put on a good show.
Well, it's our pleasure. We cross our fingers for you. We wish you good luck. Everybody makes it through healthy, and really, at the end of the day, enjoy the experience. They don't come along very often. It's a real honor to be able to do it. So hopefully, everybody appreciates it. From all of us here at Under Center Podcast, we thank you very much for listening. We will see you next week as we start to preview the NFL season. But first, there's the little matter of the Irish Wolfhounds beating the GB Lions this weekend ahead of the Aer Lingus Football Classic. Stay tuned. Please do go if you have the time, and we will see you next week.